Hi, Riley here from the Awesome Players Off-Road Motorcycle Club with a little warning for this particular video. There's going to be quite a bit of profanity because my riding was really off on this particular day. So just keep that in mind.
So far, so good.
Way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when Joe and I and Henrik were all riding KLRs, we had gone to an event organized by Rally Connex up here in Saint-Donat, north of Montreal. And this was one of the trails I remembered from that event, where you came down by the hotel where we stayed, which is now no longer a hotel, and you took this trail that paralleled a lake and then took a very nice uphill into a hydro line. And here you can see one of the rocky uphill sections. And I remember on that bone stock KLR how scared I was doing this, and went a little smoother today. And once you get to the top of this, we would always turn left and go to the hydro line, and today we decided to turn right.
So we're going to take the right at that junction, which we've never taken before. We've always gone left. And it should take us 7 kilometers back to Saint-Donat. And then we'll probably just turn around and come back up. Since we've never done this trail before.
We'd never done this trail before, but one thing we knew for sure was that it was going to be mainly downhill, just from being a little bit familiar with the terrain. And we weren't too worried about getting lost or stranded. Oh, there's some holes because we were never going to be that far from that main road that we drove in on. So it started off innocently enough. A well-groomed ATV trail.
Let's go left here.
A few little wet spots. And then it just started looking rougher and less used. Here you can see there's more grass on the trail, which is always a bad sign.
Now we got a lot of grass here, which means probably not a lot of summer traffic. This is probably more of a skidoo hill. Although a Jeep has been through here. Uh-oh. Whoa. That was a little bit of a bigger hole than I thought. All right.
We actually had a half-decent uphill section for a while.
Uh-oh. Getting a little arm pump. Whew. I think we better go right here.
This was actually getting quite steep.
Shit. This is gonna be nasty. Uh-oh. Oh, little foot peg hit. Oh, that's hard work, boys.
But the old 800 made it to the top, and it looked like it was going to be downhill all the way to that lake off in the distance.
Ooh, look at that view. Well, I don't see Chris in my mirrors. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from max.
Oh my god, that was a bit rocky.
Good arm pump, eh?
Yeah.
Well, looks like this would be a fun uphill coming the other way.
Yep.
Ooh, my arm's pumped on that one.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what's up here. so I do not want to get any speed on. So I'm in first gear, and I'm actually using front brake because the traction's pretty good, and if I lock the rear wheel, I'm going to stall it, and then it'll be a dead stick landing. So I'm actually using front brake only here for the moment. Ooh, this is steep. Okay, I'm on the rear and the front now. And I see some major fucked up erosion up here. So I'm gonna just guess that we go right, which turned out to be a very good guess. I'm not sure. Yeah, see, I don't think. I'm not sure we could make it up this coming the other way. So I'm gonna go real slow here. There's some big rocks, and if I start bouncing, I will run out of ground clearance in a jiffy. Oh, whoa, that is greasy too. I'm just walking it down here.
Now on a good day, I would have let the bike roll, gotten up on the pegs, and ridden down this rocky hill, and I gotta say, it doesn't look very steep here, but this was steep. But honestly, today I just wasn't feeling it. I was just feeling a little low energy and a little timid, and that was just not the right combination to get down this hill without kind of walking it down. And as I've said before, when you start trying to walk the bike down, it sucks a lot of energy out of you. Here on this nice section, I did get up on the pegs and roll.
Yes. I don't think we make it up that hill.
You don't think so?
No.
I let Chris roll by to take the lead, and I was kind of hoping that seeing somebody else go first was going to raise my confidence level, my courage level, but it was pretty nasty, and there was a little uphill here, and Chris didn't make it, and I had to go around him, and that was that.
Rock, and I just
when,
went there for me to keep going.
when you stalled, I said, Chris just killed me. Because I knew, like...
With just a little push, Chris was able to get going again,
Whoa!
and thanked me by spraying me.
Okay.
Chris came back to lend me a hand with the 800.
Now let me get on the other side. My poor brake lever! Another...
Oh,
It keeps getting more and more custom.
you might need to replace that.
Maybe we'll just get it going and walk it up. Oh, something in the chain?
Still on.
Whoa, I think there was. Holy shit. Whoa, I can't hold it. You got it?
Yeah.
Lean it my way a bit. Okay. Oh! I guess. Hold on.
Might need to get on.
Yeah. No.
Play stuff.
Why don't you run it from your side and I'll push?
Huh?
Run it from your side
Yeah.
and I'll push.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be easier.
Chris was tall enough that he could stand on the low side of the bike and still reach the gas and the clutch, and I was going to push.
There we go.
And that actually started working.
Yeah!
And of course, at this point, the cup of coffee and the little piece of toast I had for breakfast was not seeming like it was going to be enough energy to get through the whole day, Chris finally just jumped on and got her done.
That was a long winter of drinking and eating chips.
After that, the trail turned out to be quite nice. But of course, it's almost like a golf course. It's almost like someone engineers these trails to mess with you. Here you see this nice section, smooth, green. You're kind of wondering how much farther it is to go till you get to the main road. You start to get a little optimistic that the worst is behind you. And then right around the next corner...
Holy shit. That is fucking nasty. Nasty. H.E. nasty girl.
Another really long, rocky downhill that I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to ride back up.
I switched off the motor and I've got it in gear so I can just use the clutch as my back brake. Oh, if I remember. Holy shit.
And of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, Chris rode down this, so it can't be that bad. But I kind of psyched myself out. And I just wasn't feeling it, and I didn't want to kind of force myself to do it, so I decided to try and roll down. But the rocks were so big that even though it was steep, they were getting jammed under the wheels, and without the motor on to kind of allow me to pop over the rocks, I was having to use a lot of muscle, and it was getting me pretty tuckered out.
And my glasses are fogging up, which isn't helping.
In the distance, you can see Chris climbing up this hill, and you can see by the way he's climbing, it's steep. So at this point I thought, well, maybe if Chris has the douche rope tied onto the back of the bike and he can slow me down, I won't be skidding down this trail with both of the brakes locked up. So there you see Chris coming up, and look, that is a steep climb.
There's no way we'd come up here. To the racks. Try to get it to both racks so it'll pull centered. That's better. Keto.
With Chris as my anchor, I started to make my way down the hill.
Oh shit, where am I gonna go here?
And I was kind of beating myself up because, of course, hey, Chris had ridden down this hill, so obviously it was doable. But I don't know, I just wasn't in that right frame of mind today. And I think too, I just didn't feel like I had any energy.
Fuck, we're not that far. Which way did you go?
I went down to the left, which was probably the worst fucking possible.
Oh, you went that way?
Yeah. Maybe it was just...
All the same?
I think it's all equally shitty. I mean, if you look at it, the best is probably to cut through the middle over to the right a little bit.
Yeah. But then you don't have any shoulder. Let me move this thing.
It's all...
We were close enough to the bottom at this point, I could see the runoff area, so I wasn't afraid of getting a little bit of speed here and getting off the brakes. And I could also sense Chris was getting a little frustrated because I was really dragging ass here.
You ready, Freddy?
Yep, ready.
Oh my god. Now we're having fun.
We took a little bit of a rest and then we got rolling once again.
Hey, we can ride our bikes here. Isn't that cool?
I figured we must be close to the end of this little section of trail.
Whatever obstacle is here, we're gonna have to fucking live with it. Oh, nice, another nice downhill here. So far, keeping it good. I can see there's some runoff area, but I don't see any room to get up any. After this rock, I think I'll be able to. Now, get back up on the pegs. Now, we gotta get rid of the speed. See what's happening. Chris went down the right. I think that was a good idea. I can see a runoff area. I'm gonna try and cross. Okay, we crossed. Clutch is out. Ride it. Oh shit. Second gear. Oh, I thought it was second gear. Uh-oh. Shifter's bent, I think.
And then I realized in one of the falls, the shifter was bent and I could no longer put it into second, so it was going to be first gear all the way.
Sand.
Hit a strange little sandy section there that was quite loose as well.
I got no second gear. My shifter's bent. I'm stuck in first.
What?
I'm stuck in first gear.
It's bent?
So is that the, let's go over there and fix it. Hand grip.
That looks good.
There we go.
That's a...
Even though it was still early, we made the command decision to head to a local restaurant and actually have a hearty breakfast, because I was just feeling the tank was empty. So after we ate, we headed back onto the trail with no particular plan in mind, but Chris spotted an ATV trail, snowmobile trail, shooting off into the woods, and we decided to check it out.
Holy shit, shit, shit. This can't be good.
Wanna get all muddy?
I don't know, maybe on the left here?
Yeah, well, it'll go over though.
Whoa!
The trail on the other side looked good, but it was going to be a lot of work to get these big bikes through there, so we decided to turn tail and find somewhere else to ride.
Let's go down that way, it must be something.
Yeah, come in. If nothing else, the road's probably nicer.
Okay.
Whenever you're riding with somebody else, you can sometimes feel pressure to keep up or to, you know, kind of take the same trails that they're willing to take. And normally that works out quite well for us, and especially it works out quite well with Chris and I. We're usually on the same page. But today was one of those days where I think Chris was just feeling it, and I wasn't. Certainly wasn't feeling it early in the morning. And you have to resist that temptation to keep up and to kind of ride over your head. And the thing about riding over your head is it can change from day to day. There might be that one day where you're just 100% on your game and you're flying, and then the next day you're tired, whatever, you're just not feeling it. You just gotta exercise some discipline and just not ride over whatever level you're capable of that day. Chris decided to actually stop at the stop sign here. One nice thing about the boxers is they don't really fall all the way over.
Are you taking a break? A little softer than you thought?
This wasn't the most exciting trail. It was basically perfectly straight because it was following the highway. And at regular intervals, it kept crossing these driveways. So we had to slow down and make sure there was nobody coming the other way. You can see a bridge here, and I'm pretty sure this was all being maintained most likely by the snowmobile clubs, the local snowmobile clubs. They tend to like a lot of this stuff because in the wintertime they'll fly down here really fast. And even though it was straight, there was still some nice rocky uphills. As usual, this area is just rocks with more rocks. But the traction was good. It wasn't too hard to make it to the top.
That was a nice hill. Sandy.
There were still spots, like you can see that hole on the left, and there was this these little erosion trenches. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to be coming along at speed and get your front wheel sucked into one of those, so we were paying attention. Another rocky uphill, down into first gear. A lot of the times the worst part is the middle, so we do try to skirt the edge, and once again, one of the nice things about a bike as opposed to an ATV is that you don't need to find 2 tire tracks that are smooth if you want to keep rolling. You just need 6 inches of nice trail. And I've been riding trails like this for a long time on my 800, and my front wheel is still straight. And I've ridden with guys who have bent their front wheel in one day. I do lower the pressure. I'm probably running about 22 in the front. But when it gets really rocky, I just keep the speed down. I mean, the F800 is known for not having the greatest suspension, and the front rims are not the strongest. So you just have to either spend a lot of money on suspension and rims, or you've just got to moderate your speed.
Oh, very nice. Oh, yeah, that'll be good.
This looked like a really nice long uphill. You could see Chris had gone to the right with his tire track.
Shit.
I hit a rock and got a little off the course I wanted to take, but still managed to make it to the top. And that led right to another rocky climb.
Go, baby, go. Keep her going.
And I had the steering damper cranked up, and I was still getting the handlebars wagging pretty good.
Without a steering damper, that would be ugly. Here, oh, worse. Uh-oh.
Chris veered off, hit a rock.
Oh, that's pretty poundy.
I just got stuck with this. I couldn't release the throttle because I was leaning back so far. I just kept going. That might be a challenge.
By now I had my mojo back. I was making these climbs. I was feeling really good. This one wasn't even particularly steep. When suddenly the front wheel just skidded to a stop and down I went.
Shit. Shit. That branch stuck in the front wheel and stopped me dead. Okay, well, let's stand her up. Okay, good. Oh. All right. Uh-oh. How's my fender? Broke the fender. Uh-oh. I think I'm okay. Uh-oh.
That little branch had snapped in just the right spot, flicked up, jammed the front wheel, and at the same time punched a huge hole through my fender, pretty much destroying it. At least there was enough fender to keep the brake lines from rubbing on the knobbies. After that, the trail improved. There was still the occasional rocky little uphill, but whatever kind of reticence I'd been feeling in the morning and lack of confidence was gone, and I had a great afternoon riding all these rocky hills. I can honestly say that I think the big rocky downhills freak me out more than the rocky uphills. You know, if you're climbing and you don't make it, you kind of just roll to a stop, and even if you lose your footing, you flop over on the left or the right. When you're doing a big, long, rocky downhill, you start gaining some speed, and then if you go down, it's a lot more exciting.
Which way did he go?
I kind of lost track of Chris, got to the intersection, then I could see the tire marks going left. We hadn't seen any posted signs about whether or not motorcycles were allowed or if we needed trail access, but I had the feeling we probably did. And we were going to be buying the trail pass for the season anyways, but I was hoping not to run into any enforcement at this point, because I really didn't have any idea if we needed a pass or not to be on this trail network. This section here was really nicely maintained.
Nice.
About 20.
The trail opened up a bit and we started carrying a bit more speed. On a uphill like that, it certainly helps to have a bit of momentum. There were some downhills, but they were mild compared to what we'd already seen earlier in the morning. It's always nice to see that big flat rock, because you know it's not gonna move.
All right, looks like a big, my nose, itchy.
Here was another long downhill.
Go across here. Yikes.
But there was plenty of runoff area, so there was no need to worry about carrying a little more speed to the bottom.
Steering damper, I think, helps. There's been some people in here in Jeeps.
And then out of nowhere, a long sandy stretch. We were a little bit pressed for time, so we were passing a lot of little offshoots of this trail that perhaps we would have liked to have explored on another day. Chris had stopped to wait for me.
The Toyota Camry Off-Road Edition.
And of course, you know you're a hardcore off-road rider when the only other vehicle you see is a Camry. The HP2 has a gas tank about the same size as a politician's integrity, so we rolled into a gas station the GPS had told us about, and it looked like it hadn't had gas for about a decade. So while Chris was on fumes, we rolled down the highway a little farther and found an actual gas station. In the end, it turned out to be a really nice ride. It got off to a pretty crappy start. I gotta admit, I was a little embarrassed by how badly I was riding in the morning, And Chris was nice enough not to get too bothered by my lackluster performance. And then I can honestly say I think just having a decent breakfast really changed the tide. We would come back the next week with our trail passes after having had a proper breakfast and try once again to complete that section of trail from Chertsey to Saint Donat. And a little teaser, it didn't go well. Please hit like if you liked the video, hit the subscribe button, and you'll find out when our next video comes out automatically. If you have any questions, leave us a comment. If you want to know what else is going on, head over to awesomeplayers.com or check out Awesome Players on Facebook. You can even order stickers at awesomeplayers.com now, thanks to the efforts of our webmaster, Joe. So check it out. And once again, thanks for watching another small adventure of the Awesome Players Off-Road Motorcycle Club.